Everybody, one and all, and welcome to another edition of the Rant Network. My name is David Solomon. He is Stuart Brisgell. What were you doing Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern? Anytime between 9 and 11. Were you actually paying attention? Hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rant Network, where we are a podcast that we're broadcast every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, live and uncensored, unfiltered, on everything, on conversations on a wide range of topics. This podcast is dedicated to giving you a platform to express your opinions, share your thoughts, experiences, and ideas, and hear from a variety of perspectives and honest opinions. Folks, join us as we dive into the latest news, pop culture, and so much more. At the Rant Network, we got you covered. I'm just watching right now, trying to get my video. It's a little blurry. My apologies. I'll work on fixing that in just a second. But sit back, relax, and enjoy us on this journey of exploration and discovery. Stuart, I got to ask you, what were you doing on Wednesday at 9 p.m.? I mean, I'm just curious to know if you really felt the way that others did, that this was a debate of folks who, you felt like something was missing here. Stuart, what did you
David,
think?
listen. I'm changing glasses. I'm wearing black glasses now and I'm also now wearing a black hat. What did I get from this Republican debate? Wasn't very much. Okay. I will tell you, all the candidates took their position, and only two candidates, I believe, walked away with any sense of improvement or proper decorum. DeSantis skirted a few issues, probably by some good advice from some good counselors, where Vivek shot his mouth off like a child, an immature child that has a lot of money, to Asa, who decided to, say the most unpopular but truthful thing and got basically booed off the stage. Chris Christie, vitriol guy, probably the biggest anti-Trump guy out there today. But again, speaking the facts, this election and this debate did not include this day Donald Trump, because he didn't show. He didn't think he had to. And according to the polls, he really doesn't have to. Okay? I think that it is important to watch all the debates from every party. I think every party needs to debate. We, the people, need to see what their answers are, not what a commentator says they are or should be. It's funny how the Democrats are trying to eviscerate their obstacles, like the Constitution. And Republicans like to put religion ahead of the Constitution, which it's not. So Vice President Pence, in my opinion, scored points with religious evangelicals, but however, it totally deafened the entire political spectrum. The Republican Party needs to understand what Americans want and not what they should want. And the Democrats have constantly told the population what they want to hear and just did whatever the hell they want and try to write narratives around it. It is very, very sad in politics today, more so than it has been in decades. In the 60s, we had issues that were really polarizing. The 70s, we had other issues. But, today, when I look at what we've been through, I really just don't know where we go from here if we don't start some civility towards one another. And the debate was no different, and which is why Vivek really just, I believe, lost any political ambition on being president. And I think the No Label Party, started by, believe it or not, one of the founding members is Joe Lieberman, may actually solve our problems. Because if Joe Biden and Trump are on the ticket, the No Label Party will spoil, at the very least, 10 states. Okay? What do I mean spoil? 10 states will rob 25% Democrat, 27% Republican, and the rest will be independents. It's taking those votes away from Trump and Biden. Now, the Democrats are saying, well, then you're handing the election to Donald J. Trump. And in which case, then the No Label Party would then suspend its, right? So everyone really just doesn't want, if they're normal, Biden or Trump. And if the Democratic Party doesn't take this as a important criticism, then, they've got their problem. And if the Republicans don't look onwards and forwards, in my opinion, it's a combination of Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. But they also have to come back down to planet Earth. They need to drop the religious banter. They have to stop this angry political culture that isn't helping anyone. And the Democrats got to stop lying to everyone and quit weaponizing the DOJ. So what's my take back from this debate? Was 2 hours of entertainment, David, because the moderators lost control, right? And there were no setup questions like they do on CNN when they run a debate. There was no, it was basically the Wild West on that stage, which maybe was their desire to see who actually had some vigor and some kick in their step. A Joe Biden would have been trampled at a debate like this. That's something else. The Democrats don't want debate. Just do what I want. Listen to what I'm telling you. I understand. And then they do whatever they want. I think that's where lies our problem. We need more debate. And I want to see a Democratic Republican debate on stage. Not one, not two, but 3 full debates. And I think that if Joe Biden is a Democratic elect, he better get his ass on stage. Because you know what? Without it, we are having a bigger problem. David?
Stuart, this whole rant was supposed to be about the Republicans, and we went. Whew! So let's talk a little bit
Bring it back home, David. Bring it back.
As a Canadian, as a person watching American politics, ladies and gentlemen, I've said it many times. This is the greatest virtual reality show I could possibly watch. What I saw on Wednesday night was really simple. Donald Trump can win in the Republican nomination because out of the 8 candidates on that stage, no one was galvanizing. Yes, Vivek Ramaswamy was everybody's, darling child, 30-something years old, fresh, different, blah, blah, blah. The left loved him. Why? Because he represents everything that they say the Republicans are bad at. He's against climate change. He's against, abortion. And everybody's crapping all over it. Kudos, ladies and gentlemen, to a little bit to DeSantis, but also Nikki Haley. They stood out a little bit. The people that I thought were failures, Tim Scott. My God, Tim Scott failed miserably on Wednesday. He didn't stand out. He didn't look presidential. He didn't do anything. Mike Pence looked like, I'm sorry, you should be a priest or an evangelist, but you are not presidential. And in all due respect to Asa Hutchinson and Doug Burgum, Doug had just torn his ACL earlier in the day. I couldn't imagine. You guys are not it. Maybe you'll have a cabinet position. At the end of the day, without Donald Trump on stage, it didn't do what it should have done, which was really distinguish who could be fresh and new.
Right.
The sad part of it all was that, I've heard very little new and fresh. I do give Nikki Haley applause because she came up with an abortion plan, right? I heard what Ron DeSantis has done in Florida and what he wants to bring to, beat the woke. He beat up Disney. He beat up these are great things to bring up into all this stuff. Vivek Ramaswamy, I think the best line of the night came from Chris Christie, calling him the Chat GPT guy. He just kept spewing out these phrases that are completely I'm sorry. The one thing I got out of the Republican Party, out of the 8 candidates on that stage, is very few are listening to what young Republicans want to talk about today.
Yeah.
And this question that came up about climate change from a young Republican was virtually it was unremarkable. It wasn't even addressed by it. And I think that this is the problem. Forget the Democrats. You have hardcore Democrats who will never, ever, ever, ever vote for Republican. We got that. But you got a percentage of the population that goes back and forth depending on the winds. And here is you're in 2023 where we've seen ridiculous weather, forest fires. We've got a hurricane coming out on the California coast. It's relevant to talk a little bit about it. When Vivek Ramaswamy says it's bunk, he's bunk.
Yeah, but that was my whole point. But that was what I just started off. I mean, it was just like it was cheap entertainment for 2 hours, David. That's all.
But it was worse than cheap entertainment. It just shows that there's a lack of leadership. And I'm sorry to say, if Donald Trump is the candidate, the Republicans are finished. Okay, and I'm sorry to say this, and you're right about a third party. All with this, I think not all of it, but like from Politico to CNN to all the other liberal media, they painted a picture that the Republicans are still stuck in the past. And they're right. There is nothing new and fresh. Yes, Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis could be an interesting ticket. Okay, but they're not addressing 2023, 2024 issues.
Nope.
They're still stuck. A lot of them are still stuck in a lot of the old stuff.
So what do you tell them they should do? I think they need more debate.
What I got out of this is Trump is going to still talk about, and he did it yesterday. He'll focus on election denial. He will completely take the focus away from what needs to be spoken about, which is the real issues, and focus it on him. Right? He was yesterday indicted. That stupid mugshot that went on social media, blah, blah, blah.
That was leaked.
Oh, I know. But the fact is, Stuart, that the Republicans need to get rid of Donald Trump. He is going to turn this into the Donald Trump show, and then the Americans are going to once again not go to the polls. They will not show up to vote because they don't have with whom to vote for. If there is a next debate, and there is supposed to be a next debate, Donald Trump's got to get on that stage, and Donald Trump has got to get attacked. They've got to prove that they are worthy. Otherwise, you'll have a Biden-Trump election in 2024, which is scaring the crap out of everybody.
The second debate is at the Reagan Center, September 22nd.
Yeah, will Trump show up?
You want to know something? No, I don't think he's going to show up.
He has nothing to gain.
He is in the lead. I think that the stage needs to be cleared. I think that they should take the gang and reduce it. If you're not above this percentage, you're done.
You might as well drop the bottom four, because the bottom four, there's no way I could see Asa Hutchinson, Doug Burgum, Tim Scott, and with all due respect to Mike Pence, or maybe even Chris Christie, you could cut that stage into half, 3, 4,
and have a more valuable debate. And that's what I want. You see, what was my takeaway? How did the Republican candidates do? They did so bad, we need to clear half the stage. I mean, that's really the end of it.
It's worse, but still, I think it's worse than that. I think it's worse than that. And listen, we've seen this before in other, you always have a lot more, and then we
no breakup moments.
And in 5 months from now, when they have their first primary, we'll see. But the Republicans have brought nothing fresh to the table. That's the problem. It's not fresh. And Vivek Ramaswamy is not the guy that I want to hear. He has zero experience. Is in terms of trying to do this, and he scares the crap out of me with what he's saying. I think we're just going to go nowhere.
David, what
last word to you.
Last word is this. How did the Republicans do on this debate on Wednesday? 2 thumbs down.
Yeah, 2 thumbs down. All right, folks, that's it for today. We're done for another week. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Rant Network. Hope you enjoyed this conversation, gained some valuable insights. Appreciate your support, folks. We are all over the podcast world, all over social media. Find us, like us, share us. We love to hear more from folks. Look, we're here every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern, uncensored, unfiltered, unedited. We just spew from the top of our heads, and we get the feedback from you folks. So just go out to social media and share us with all your friends. Remember, we're always interested in hearing from you. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourself a wonderful